Hello and welcome back to our channel, your ultimate destination for all things ABC General Hospital. Today is an absolutely fantastic day to dive deep into the latest, most explosive drama that has our entire community buzzing. We are so glad you are here with us to unpack every single jaw-dropping moment. Let's get right into it. The water ripples, the silence shatters, and a single muddy footprint on a hardwood floor changes the trajectory of 4 lives forever. The momentum has violently shifted, the hunter has become the hunted, and the impossible choices now facing everyone involved will leave Port Charles burning to the ground. I cannot even breathe right now. Seriously, I am sitting here typing this at 2 in the morning because my adrenaline is completely through the roof and I absolutely cannot sleep after what we just watched. Did that really just happen? I mean, I have been watching this show religiously since 2015, and I have seen some wild, off-the-wall cliffhangers in my time, but this takes the absolute cake. I am half celebrating and half complaining because my nerves are completely shot, but oh my gosh, we need to talk about this right now. You guys, my fellow fans, you are the only ones who understand the absolute emotional roller coaster I am currently strapped to, and I just have to get all of these thoughts out of my system before I explode. Let us start with Nina Reeves because I am so incredibly frustrated with this woman I could scream at my television. I can't believe she actually did that. She shoved him. She literally shoved a paralyzed man in a wheelchair into the freezing Quartermain Lake. Because of course she did. Nina has this incredible, unmatched, frankly terrifying ability to take a bad situation and make it catastrophically worse in the name of protecting her daughter. I know some people are loving this unhinged, dark version of Nina, but personally, I am just exhausted by her total lack of empathy. She sees Drew sitting there by the water's edge, realizing that he's slowly regaining his speech, realizing that he's about to blow Willow's entire sick, twisted scheme wide open, and her brain just completely short-circuits. So she pushes him. She pushes her son-in-law into the water, strapped to a heavy metal chair. And then she runs away. She doesn't even stay to see if he sinks or floats. She just panics, screams her head off to cover her tracks, and bolts like a frightened child. I mean, remember when they tried this kind of impulsive villainy with her back in the day? Yeah, it didn't work then either, but this is a whole new level of reckless. Did she honestly think this was going to solve her Drew Kane problem for good? Drew is a former Navy SEAL. He is a highly trained military operative and a survivor. Did she really think a little lake water and a wheelchair were going to permanently take out a man with his background? Nina is so blinded by her panic that she threw all logic completely out the window. And who does she run to? Jack Brennan. Poor, dangerously handsome, completely entangled Jack Brennan. Nina runs back to him, completely breathless and undone, totally convinced that she has just committed cold-blooded murder. She confesses everything to him. She just dumps this massive, life-ruining secret right in his lap without a second thought. But here is the absolute kicker, and it is driving me insane just thinking. Jack Brennan just agreed to help her cover up a murder that did not actually happen. He is now an accessory to a phantom crime. He is tangled up in a massive, federal-level lie that he cannot untell without completely destroying the woman he is clearly falling for. I mean, Jack now has a version of Nina in his head that he can never, ever unhear. He knows exactly how far she is willing to go, how incredibly dark she is willing to get, just to protect Willow. And honestly, that might be the most dangerous outcome for both of them in the long run. Because Brennan thought he had the winning hand. He got the black box from Valentine Cassidy. He had the blackmail material on Drew's misappropriated funds. He thought he could just neatly control the situation. But what good is financial blackmail leverage when the man you are trying to silence was just the victim of an attempted homicide by the woman you are... The stakes just skyrocketed from corporate blackmail to attempted murder, and Jack Brennan is standing right in the blast radius. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, back to the point. The lake, the drowning, the absolute beautiful irony of Giovanni Palmieri just happening to be down by the boathouse for Gio, our resident summer lifeguard and violin prodigy, literally saves the day and ruins Nina's entire murderous plan in one fell swoop. I was screaming at the screen because Gio hauls a drowning Drew Kane out of the water, resuscitates him, and completely flips the script on everyone. Nina and Jack are rushing around behind the scenes, expecting a dead body to wash up, and instead, Gio drops the bomb on the entire Quartermain family that Drew is breathing, and, get this, he insisted on going home. He went home. Not to General Hospital. Not to the PCPD to file a report. Home to Willow. The sheer, unadulterated panic that must have washed over Nina's face when she realized she failed to kill him and now he is on the loose. Cinematic gold. I am absolutely here for it, but I am also dreading the fallout because Nina is going to drag everyone down with her. She thought she was being a protective mother, but in that one reckless second, she became the very monster she had been trying to stop. She handed Drew Kane every single reason in the world to make her and Willow pay, and she did it on a silver platter. So let us talk about Willow Tate, because my blood pressure spikes just typing her name right now. Am I the only one who is just entirely fed up with Congresswoman Kane? She actually believed the nightmare was over. She had Wiley and Amelia's bags packed. She had a plane ticket out of the country waiting. She was fully prepared to just fly away and escape the consequences of drugging and paralyzing her own husband for months. The sheer arrogance of this woman. She really thought she had won. She thought she could just hit reset on her life, leave Drew locked in his own body, and skip town like she didn't just commit a massive felony. And where exactly did Willow think she was going with Michael's? Let's not forget the history here. Willow and Michael have been divorced for a long time. Michael is currently dating Jacinda, but he is still a Corinthos through and through. He has been scheming and waiting for the perfect moment to get full custody of Wiley and Amelia. If Willow had actually gotten on that plane and fled the country, Michael would have unleashed the hounds of hell on her. Jacinda is already confused by Michael's ruthless corporate raider behavior at Deception. Imagine the absolute terror Michael would rain down if his children were kidnapped by his ex-wife. Willow wasn't just running from Drew, she was about to ignite a war with Michael Corinthos, and she was too blinded by her own desperation to see it. But she didn't get on the plane. Because she is crouching down on the floor of her darkened house, investigating a muddy footprint. A muddy footprint. You guys, the cinematography in this scene was straight out of a premium horror movie, and I am obsessed with it. She sees the mud on her pristine floor. The front door bangs shut behind her, and the absolute terror that freezes her spine. Chef's kiss. It was perfect. It was everything we have been waiting for since this terrible locked-in storyline started. She turns around, and there he is. Drew Kane. Soaked to the bone, dripping lake water onto the floor, fully mobile, and very, very alive. Every single carefully built escape plan she made instantly meant absolutely nothing. There was no scream. There was no frantic scramble for her phone to call the police. There was only this suffocating, horrifying realization that she has nowhere left to run. Drew Kane walked through the door that Willow never, ever wanted open. And he is fully aware of exactly what she tried to do to him. He knows she worked with Jen Sidwell. He knows she used the paralytic. He knows she stole his voice, his agency, and his life. I can't even begin to process what Drew is going to do to her. Turning Willow in is the obvious move, right? Call Harrison Chase, have her arrested, boom, done. But obvious has never been how the show operates. And honestly, an arrest is way too good for her right now. A quick arrest hands Willow a clean, contained consequence. She could hire Diane Miller or Martin Gray, post bail, and play the victim like she always does. She would cry those big Willow tears and try to spin it. But this story has never been about clean. Our money is on something so much colder and so much more devastating. Drew has spent months paralyzed, trapped inside his own mind, listening to Willow rewrite the narrative in her favor. He is going to use the very silence she weaponized against him to completely dismantle her life. Blackmail feels too easy for a man who spent this long being underestimated. Drew is going to build a case so airtight that she cannot buy, charm, or lie her way out of it. He is going to let her believe she has time to run, maybe even let her think Brennan's blackmail material is working right before he closes every single exit at once. A slow, calculated dismantling of everything Willow built while assuming he couldn't fight back feels far more his. It would cost her her congressional career, her custody of the kids, her reputation, and her freedom. He is going to make her suffer the exact same way she made him. And honestly, I am completely here for it. I hate what they did to Drew's character, but I love watching Willow squirm. Wait, am I contradicting myself? I don't even care. I am just so emotional about this. I want to see Willow face the music for once in her life, without someone swooping in to save her. Willow Tate spent weeks treating Drew like a problem to be managed instead of a human being capable of retaliation. That was her biggest miscalculation. She looked at the man she married and just saw an obstacle. She thought she was the smartest person in the room. But whatever Drew decides to do next, one thing is absolutely certain. The version of Willow who thought this was over doesn't exist anymore. She is a dead woman walking in Port Charles. She officially ran out of moves. Drew surviving that lake was never going to be the end of the story. It was the beginning of a reckoning that Willow Tate built with her own two hands. And let's just pause and think about the history here again. Remember when Willow first came to town? She was this sweet, innocent schoolteacher. Now, she is this cold, calculating politician who is literally drugging her husband with a black market paralytic obtained from a known criminal like Jen Sidwell. It is wild. I know some people are loving this dark turn for Willow, but personally, I am just astounded by the sheer hypocrisy. She judged Michael for his mob ties, she judged Sunny, she judged Nina, and yet here she is, committing one of the most heinous, drawn-out crimes we have seen in years. And back to Nina and Brennan for a second, because I cannot let this go. What is their endgame now? Brennan has the black box that Valentine traded him. He has the evidence of Drew's misappropriated funds. But does that even matter anymore? Drew is standing in his living room, dripping wet and filled with pure venom. When Drew rasped out the word Willow earlier at the hospital, you could feel the hatred radiating off the screen. He is not going to be silenced by some financial blackmail. He was almost murdered. Nina pushed him into a lake. You cannot blackmail a man who has literally nothing left to lose and who just survived an assassination. Nina is going to have to face the music, and Brennan is going to have to decide if this woman is really worth throwing his entire WSB career and freedom away. I mean, the chemistry between Nina and Brennan is off the charts. I will give them that. When they were tearing Windermere apart looking for that box, the tension was palpable. But chemistry isn't going to save them from a furious, vengeful Drew Kane. And let's not forget the wild card in all of it. The gloved figure who stole the black box from Windermere while Nina stepped away. Who was that? My brain is literally spinning with theories. Was it someone working for Sidwell? Was it one of Jason's contacts? Was it someone connected to the WSB? Whoever it is, they now hold the ultimate leverage that could destroy Drew, Willow, Nina, and Jack all at once. Port Charles is sitting on a massive powder keg, and someone just lit the match. I am just so overwhelmed by how perfectly this episode was paced. The cross-cutting between Nina's frantic confession to Brennan, Gio pulling Drew out of the water, and Willow packing her bags. It was an absolute masterclass in soap opera. You could feel the walls closing in on Willow even before she saw the muddy footprint. The irony is just too rich. She thought the paralytic was her ultimate weapon, but it was actually her undoing. Because it gave Drew time to sit and think and plan. He couldn't move his body, but his mind was working overtime. He has mapped out every single way to destroy her, and she has absolutely no idea what is coming. Do you think Willow Tate deserves whatever is coming, or has Drew Kane officially become the bigger villain in this? I honestly don't even know where I stand anymore. I just know that I am going to be glued to my screen for the rest of this month. The fallout from this is going to be biblical. Michael is going to use this to get full custody of the kid. Chase is going to have to investigate someone he used to love. Nina is going to spiral completely out of control. And Drew? Drew is going to burn it all down. I am so here for it, but I'm also terrified for my favorite characters. Okay, I need to take a breath and calm down before I wake up my entire house. Will Drew's cold, calculated revenge completely destroy Willow? Or does she have one last desperate trick up her? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below and subscribe for more.